Usually when we think about trauma, we picture a breakdown, right? Like someone really struggling to function. But sometimes from the outside, I mean, it doesn't look like trauma at all. It just looks like a stellar work ethic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It looks like the person who is always the absolute first to help out.
Right, and the last to ever ask for anything back.
Exactly. It just looks like the perfect employee or, the ideal friend, which is why it completely goes unnoticed.
Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Today we are unpacking a very specific, totally hidden kind of pain, which is the child who believes they have to earn the right to exist.
Yeah, and to really understand this, we are actually diving into some character lore from One Piece today. And even if you've never watched a single episode, the psychological profiles of these characters, they just map so perfectly onto a real-world phenomenon.
They really do. Because at its core, this is all about what the psychologist Carl Rogers called conditional positive regard.
Conditional positive regard. Okay, so what exactly does that look like? Well, it happens when childhood love is made completely contingent on behavior or achievement or, usefulness.
Mhm.
A person raised this way, they literally can't truly rest.
Because resting feels dangerous.
Right. On a really deep, unexamined level, resting feels like the exact moment their worth just runs out.
Wow. It's almost like treating your own life as this like daily subscription service where you have to pay the fee in relentless output. And if you stop producing, you literally fear your existence will be canceled.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And when a subscription is canceled, you lose access, right? For a child, losing access means losing love. It means losing safety.
So they just learn that survival depends entirely on what they can offer.
Yeah, exactly. And that fear of being canceled is why we see people push themselves right to the brink.
Which brings us to the source material. Think about a character like Sanji. He is told directly by his own father that his gentleness makes him worthless.
Oh, it's so brutal.
It really is. His dad essentially says his kindness is a defect that needs to be, like, surgically corrected out of him.
So, of course, Sanji internalizes that his natural self is totally unacceptable. His entire survival strategy becomes just proving his worth through relentless service to others.
Especially feeding people, right? Anyone who's hungry.
Right, because he decided very early on that love simply has to be earned through extreme usefulness.
Okay, so Sanji tries to buy love with extreme usefulness. But then you have another character, Law, who takes a completely different path from the exact same root wound.
Yeah, Law is fascinating.
He loses absolutely everything as a child, his family, his home, all to this terrible disease and a massacre. So instead of trying to be useful to win people over like Sanji, he rebuilds his entire identity around just being undeniably surgically competent.
Because competence basically becomes his armor. I mean, when you've had everything stripped away from you in such a chaotic way, you crave something bulletproof.
And competence is the one thing nobody can take away from him.
Exactly. And more importantly, it's the one thing nobody can make conditional. He doesn't need you to love him, he just needs you to need his skills.
Wow. So Sanji and Law are basically performing just to survive. But then there's Doflamingo. He shows what happens when this exact same trauma goes completely toxic.
Right, the curdled wound.
Yeah. He watches his family get destroyed over a mistake his father made. But instead of trying to be useful or competent, he decides that safety means being the one who controls whether others get to exist at all. So, did he just stop believing in unconditional worth entirely to protect himself?
That is exactly it. He adopts a mechanism of absolute control. When a person concludes that nobody's worth is unconditional, they just stop believing in anyone's worth, including their own.
So they start treating other people's existence as just something to be granted or revoked at will.
Yes, he protects himself by denying the inherent value of everyone else. He builds this psychological fortress, and that fortress is ultimately way more destructive than the original wound ever was.
Okay, so if conditional worth is the disease here, how do these characters, or frankly, how do any of us, actually find a cure?
Well, going back to Carl Rogers, he argued that unconditional positive regard is the single precondition to becoming your true self, rather than just a performance.
So basically, experiencing love with absolutely no strings attached.
Exactly. In the story, Sanji and Law slowly start to heal because they eventually encounter people who help them for absolutely no return at all.
But wait, if your entire survival strategy has relied on transactional relationships, wouldn't someone just handing you unconditional help actually feel terrifying? Like, wouldn't it feel like a trap?
Oh, absolutely. It feels incredibly threatening to the defense system you've built. The brain immediately searches for the hidden cost. Like, what do you want from me?
Right, waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. But repeatedly experiencing that unearned kindness is what gradually proves that the old rule just no longer applies.
And sadly, Doflamingo never gets that experience.
No, he doesn't. So his defense is just hardened into pure tyranny. He built a philosophy instead of healing.
Man, that is intense. So we want to turn the mirror toward you, the listener, now. Do you only feel entitled to rest or love or care after you've earned it through your output?
We actually have a challenge for you this week. Try accepting a compliment or accepting some help without immediately trying to balance the ledger.
That is going to feel so incredibly uncomfortable for some people.
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
But that discomfort you feel, that is the actual wound talking. Just try to sit with it for once instead of rushing to pay it off.
I love that. And there's a quote from today's source material that just sums this up perfectly.
Oh, right. It says, if you only feel worthy of love on the days you're useful, that's not humility. That's a child's old rule, still running your adult life.
Think back to that daily subscription service of life we talked about earlier. If you stripped away your output today, your relentless helpfulness, and your competence, who exactly would you be left alone with in the quiet?